Most people work hard for money, but the top 1%. They make money work for them. The way they manage their finances isn't a secret, it's a system. And if you understand it, you don't need to be rich to start applying it in your own life. In this video, I'll break down the 4 powerful money principles the wealthy live by, simple habits that anyone can start using today to build real wealth. If you've ever wanted to learn how to manage money like the 1%, this is your roadmap. Here are the 4 principles you'll discover today. First one. Think in assets, not paychecks. The wealthy focus on owning things that make money, not just trading time for money. Number 2. Pay yourself first. Before spending a single dollar, they invest in their future. Number 3. Leverage money as a tool. They know how to use money, debt, and tax systems to multiply wealth. Now the 4th and the last one. Invest in growth, not just comfort. Instead of chasing luxuries, they put money into skills, health, and opportunities that pay off long-term. Stick with me, because I'll break each one down with examples you can use right now, even if you're starting small. Number 1. Think in assets. Most people grow up believing that the ultimate financial goal is to get a good paying job and live off their paycheck. While earning an income is essential, the wealthiest 1% think about money very differently. Instead of focusing on paychecks, they focus on assets. So, what's the difference between the two? A paycheck is earned income. It's active, you have to trade your time and skills for money, and the moment you stop working, the income disappears. Assets, on the other hand, are things that continue to generate value and cash flow whether you are working or not. These include investments like real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property, or even digital products that sell themselves. Here's an example. Imagine 2 friends, Sarah and John. Sarah works as a lawyer and earns $120,000 a year. She lives in a nice apartment, drives a leased car, and spends most of her money on lifestyle expenses. John, meanwhile, earns $70,000 a year as an engineer but lives more modestly. Instead of spending everything, John uses his extra cash to buy rental properties and invest in index funds. After a few years, John's investments are generating an extra $20,000 a year in passive income. 10 years later, Sarah is still stuck in the paycheck cycle, while John is financially free. This is how the 1% think. They don't measure success by how much they earn, they measure it by how much they own that produces income on its own. Another important concept here is understanding the wealth pyramid. At the bottom are liabilities, things that take money out of your pocket, like cars, gadgets, or credit card debt. In the middle are your paycheck and savings. At the top are assets, stocks, real estate, and businesses. The average person spends most of their money acquiring liabilities, while the 1% strategically acquire assets. A great way to apply this principle in your own life is to start small. You don't need millions to begin building assets. You could start with a simple investment in an index fund, buy a small rental property with leverage, or even create a digital product like an online course or ebook that sells while you sleep. The key is to build something that continues to produce value without requiring your constant effort. This also requires a shift in mindset. The middle class often ask, how much can I afford per month? When buying something, the wealthy ask, will this purchase put money into my pocket, or take money out? That small shift changes everything. For example, buying a car on monthly payments may look affordable, but it's a liability. On the other hand, using that same money to buy dividend-paying stocks or a piece of real estate means you're buying something that works for you. Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. The 1% live by this principle. They understand that financial freedom doesn't come from a bigger paycheck, it comes from acquiring and growing assets that make money on their own. In short, thinking in assets instead of paychecks is about moving from short-term comfort to long-term security. It's not about how much you earn today, but how much you own tomorrow that truly counts. Number 2. Pay yourself first. One of the simplest yet most powerful money habits of the 1% is the principle of pay yourself first. At its core, this idea means prioritizing savings and investments before you spend a single dollar on anything else. It flips the typical money cycle upside down. Most people follow this pattern. Paycheck comes in right pointing arrow, bills and expenses get paid right pointing arrow. If there's anything left over, it might go into savings. The problem is, there's rarely anything left. Lifestyle expenses expand to fill the entire paycheck. That's why the average person struggles to save consistently, even when their income rises. The 1% do things differently. The moment income arrives, a portion of it is immediately set aside for investing, saving, or building wealth. Expenses come after that. This way, building wealth isn't optional, it's automatic. Let's imagine a simple example. Suppose you earn $3,000 a month. Instead of paying rent, utilities, groceries, and entertainment first, you immediately transfer 15%, $450, into a separate account for investments. Now, you are left with $2,550 for living expenses. That's what you budget with. It forces you to live on less while ensuring that your wealth grows in the background. This habit has two powerful effects. First, it creates financial discipline. You train yourself to treat investing as a non-negotiable bill, just like rent or electricity. Second, it harnesses the power of compounding. Money invested early has decades to grow, and even modest contributions can turn into a fortune over time. For example, if a 25-year-old saves $500 a month and invests it at a 7% annual return, by the age of 65, they'll have over $1.2 million. If they wait until age 35 to start, they'll only have about $567,000. The difference isn't the amount saved, it's the time. Paying yourself first gives you that time advantage. The wealthy also understand that this principle protects against lifestyle inflation. When income rises, most people increase their spending. Bigger houses, nicer cars, fancier vacations. The 1% increase their investments first, and only then adjust their lifestyle. By doing so, they ensure that wealth always grows faster than expenses. You can make this process effortless with automation. Set up automatic transfers that move money into investment accounts the day you get paid. This way, you don't rely on willpower, it just happens. Many millionaires and billionaires use this strategy because they know self-discipline fades, but systems last. The concept of paying yourself first isn't just about money, it's also about mindset. It sends a clear message: my future is a priority. Every dollar you save is a soldier working for your freedom. Instead of working for money, you're building a system where money works for you. Even if you're starting small, say $50 a month, the key is consistency. Over time, those small amounts grow and build financial momentum. Eventually, the money you set aside begins generating income on its own through dividends, interest, or rental cash flow. That's when the cycle shifts in your favor. Remember this: financial freedom is rarely about one big win. It's not about winning the lottery or making a lucky stock pick. It's about building consistent habits that compound over time. And, pay yourself first, is the foundation of those habits. The 1% don't wait until there's money left over to invest. They make sure money is there by treating it as the first priority. If you adopt this principle, even on a modest income, you'll be far ahead of most people chasing wealth but never building it. So, if there's one habit to start today, it's this: the next time money comes into your account, pay yourself first. Future you will thank you. Number 3. Leverage money as tool. Most people see money as something they need to survive, a paycheck that covers bills, rent, food, and maybe a little extra for fun. The wealthy, however, look at money in a very different way. For them, money is not just something to spend or save, it's a tool. A tool to grow more wealth, reduce taxes, create opportunities, and ultimately build freedom. The average person often fears money or debt because they've been taught to associate it with stress. But the 1% learn how to harness money as a resource, almost like using a lever. With the right knowledge, $1 can do the work of 10. One of the most powerful ways the wealthy use money as a tool is through leverage. In simple terms, leverage means using borrowed money or other people's resources to multiply your own returns. For example, if you buy a $300,000 rental property with only $60,000 of your own money and a bank loan for the rest, you've leveraged it to own a much bigger asset than you could have purchased with cash alone. If that property grows in value or produces rental income, you benefit from the gains on the full $300,000, not just your $60,000. Of course, leverage comes with risk, but the wealthy understand that not all debt is bad. Bad debt is borrowing for things that lose value, like credit card spending on gadgets or cars. Good debt is borrowing for things that produce income or appreciate in value, like property, businesses, or investments. The 1% master this distinction and use good debt to accelerate their wealth. Another way money becomes a tool is through tax efficiency. Most people work for a salary, pay taxes on every dollar, and then live off what's left. The wealthy, however, understand tax laws and structure their finances to minimize what they owe. For example, business owners can deduct expenses, investors pay lower tax rates on long-term capital gains, and real estate investors can benefit from depreciation write-offs. By knowing how to use money within the rules of the system, they keep more of what they earn and reinvest it to build further wealth. The 1% also see money as a tool for opportunity. They don't let cash sit idle, they put it to work. This could mean investing in a promising startup, buying undervalued real estate, or even funding a personal project that could generate income in the future. While many people hoard money out of fear, the wealthy deploy it strategically to open doors and expand possibilities. On top of that, money is a tool for time freedom. For the average person, time equals money. You work an hour, you get paid for an hour. But the wealthy use money to buy back their time. They hire people, delegate tasks, and invest in systems that free them from day-to-day labor. This shift allows them to focus on higher-level decisions, creativity, and growth, rather than being stuck in the grind. To apply this in your own life, start small. Instead of thinking, how can I save every dollar? Begin asking, how can this dollar work for me? Could you use it to pay down high-interest debt? Invest it into a stock index fund, or even buy tools that increase your productivity. Every dollar should have a job beyond sitting in your account. Ultimately, leveraging money as a tool is about mindset. The wealthy don't see money as the end goal, they see it as a resource, a multiplier, and a servant. The goal is not to work for money forever, but to put money to work for you. When you learn to master this principle, money stops being something you chase. Instead, it becomes the engine that drives your freedom and growth. Now fourth and the last one, invest in growth. If there's one thing that separates the wealthy from everyone else, it's how they spend their money. Most people focus on comfort, nicer clothes, bigger houses, new gadgets, and flashy cars. The 1% think differently. While they may enjoy luxuries later, their priority is always growth, personal growth, financial growth, and long-term wealth creation. This mindset shift is crucial. Comfort spending feels good in the moment but rarely produces lasting benefits. Growth spending, on the other hand, may not bring immediate pleasure, but it pays dividends for years, or even decades. For example, think of education. The average person might hesitate to spend $500 on a course or a seminar, seeing it as too expensive. Yet they might easily spend the same amount on clothes, dining out, or a new phone. The wealthy see that same $500 as an investment. If it teaches them a new skill, opens up a better career opportunity, or helps them launch a business, the return could be 10, 100, or even 1,000 times greater than the cost. This principle extends beyond formal education. The 1% regularly invest in mentors, coaches, and networks. They understand that surrounding themselves with the right people accelerates success far faster than trying to do everything alone. Comfort says, I already know enough. Growth says, who can teach me to reach the next level? Health is another area where the wealthy prioritize growth over comfort. Instead of skipping workouts or eating fast food for convenience, they invest in high-quality nutrition, personal trainers, wellness programs, and preventative healthcare. Why? Because they see their body as their ultimate asset. What good is wealth if you don't have the health and energy to enjoy it? The same logic applies to business and investing. The average person might buy a luxury car as soon as they can afford the payments. The wealthy often wait. Instead, they direct that money into assets, stocks, rental properties, or business ventures. Later, when those assets generate enough passive income, then they may buy the car. In other words, they let their money grow first, and then use the returns to fund their comforts. This principle can be summed up in one powerful idea: delayed gratification. Comfort spending seeks immediate pleasure. Growth spending seeks long-term rewards. The 1% master delayed gratification, knowing that small sacrifices today create massive opportunities tomorrow. Think about Jeff Bezos starting Amazon in his garage, or Elon Musk reinvesting millions from his early ventures into new companies instead of buying mansions right away. These individuals consistently chose growth investments over short-term comfort, and the results speak for themselves. So, how can you apply this in your own life? Start by auditing your spending. Ask yourself, does this purchase add to my comfort, or does it add to my growth? Comfort isn't bad. You don't have to live like a monk, but if 90% of your spending goes toward things that don't move you forward, you'll struggle to build wealth. Shift even a portion of that spending into growth areas: courses, books, tools, side hustles, or investments. Over time, those small growth-focused choices compound. The course you take today might lead to a better-paying job tomorrow. The network you build this year might open doors 5 years from now. The investments you make now might pay for your dream lifestyle in retirement. The key is balance. Comfort should be the reward of growth, not the substitute for it. If you flip the order, investing in growth first and enjoying comfort later, you'll find yourself building wealth like the 1%. In the end, the wealthy understand this truth. Comfort fades quickly, but growth compounds forever. Choose growth today, and tomorrow's comfort will take care of itself. Have you ever wondered why the wealthiest 1% manage money so differently from everyone else? It's not just about earning more, it's about thinking differently. The good news: you don't have to be rich to start applying their strategies. In this video, I'm going to share the 4 key money principles the 1% live by, and if you apply them, you can completely change the way you build wealth. So here's the big takeaway. The difference between the 1% and everyone else isn't luck, and it's not always about having a massive income, it's about how they think and how they manage money. They think in assets, not paychecks. They pay themselves first. They use money as a tool, not just something to spend. And they invest in growth before comfort. If you start applying even one of these principles today, you'll be way ahead of most people who are stuck in the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Remember, wealth isn't built overnight. It's built through consistent habits and smarter decisions over time. So the question is, are you going to keep managing money like everyone else, or are you ready to start thinking like the 1%? If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And let me know in the comments, which of these 4 principles are you going to start applying first?